And hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo Woo. This episode I'm going to go through some book purchases I made recently and a couple of other things. First of all, if you hear a hum in the background, it's very warm here today and my computer fan is going insane. It is what it is. We'll have to live with it. So, the first thing a lot of you will be interested in is I got the Morrison t-shirt, the ones that I started putting up on Amazon. Now it's obviously in colour, but you can't see that in the black and white. And it smells of vinegar, but there was a nice little note on it that says, you know, the reason why it smells of vinegar is because the way they print it is a natural thing. This is just okay. It's not. It looks like kind of, you know, like the dodgy knockoff t-shirt you get outside a gig. It's like the printing isn't particularly wonderful or anything. It's just all right, but it's only 20 quid, so it's cool. It is. I guess I suspected I was looking for something slightly better, but maybe not. It's just print on demand anyway. What really can you do? It's not as good as the Punisher t-shirt I have on. It's printed really well. The next thing I got was the Unearthing book, the Alan Moore, which is about his friend Steve Moore, no relation. And it's an audiobook, or I think it was originally possibly was like a spoken word performance thing. But what I know it from is the audiobook, which is wonderful, and it's on Spotify, so you should check it out. It's just him talking about his friend Steve Moore, who's an occultist, a comic writer, and who two of them together are doing that bumper book of magic, which hopefully will come out at some stage. But that full project involved also photography as well as the text. And I managed to get this for about 9 quid on Amazon secondhand. There's a hardback version of it, but it's like £1,000,000 quid on Amazon. The only thing was that it came in, like, you know, those comic bags, the protection bags, and it had melted on the top of it. So I have a load of melted plastic that I may be able to get off in some way, but like, it's still the main thing of it. 20-year-old Tommy would have gone insane if there was melted plastic on his Alan Moore book. But it's really good. Check out Unearthing. It's possibly my favourite thing Alan Moore has ever done. This came as well, which is the Karma Sutra, not the Kama Sutra, which is the sex thing. And this was recommended to me by a guy who emailed me and said that because I like the reality transurfing stuff, I should check this out. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know an awful lot about it, other than I'm looking forward to it. He said I'd like it. Then we have the new versions of Cosmic Trigger 1, 2, and 3, and they're really, really lovely books. The printing on them, they're new designs. They came out in 2017. Someone told me that the rights got reverted to his daughter, or she bought them or something, and that's why we're getting new versions of them coming out. I've only ever read Cosmic Trigger 1 because I've only read them in a PDF. I could never find Cosmic Trigger 2, and I didn't want to go straight to Cosmic Trigger 3, so I'm looking forward to it. There's an excellent audiobook of Cosmic Trigger number 1 that coincides with the release of this. I really like Robert Attenborough. Now I know people have some reservations on it, and then a couple of years ago Gordon on RuneSoup kind of not really give out to him, but kind of, you know, was the first person that I came across that kind of had anything bad to say about old Bob, and people have kind of since then have been either influenced by that or just become more open about it that they don't like him. I know Robbie of Chariot Wheels has no time for him at all. But he's a man of his time and all that kind of stuff, but he's some great ideas. I love his humour. I could listen to him talk. He's a great voice. He's some wonderful ideas, even if I don't agree with all of them, and I'll enjoy that. I'll enjoy reading those other ones. Next, we have these. So this is the omnibuses of 20th Century Boys by Nakoa Urasawa. And these books are wonderful. These are as up to date as you can get with the omnibus versions. There is the single ones that you can get out, but I'm waiting on the omnibus ones. And it's kind of the idea is that it's a bit Stephen King-y, and it's like adults looking back in their childhood, and you know, adventures to get up to, and how then it parallels with the future and all that. But it's obviously set in the future, but it's like 2003. So I mean, it's obviously not the future that it turned out to be, but that there's this kind of a group of kids who set up a mystery, who kind of put together a book which how they thought the future would be, and then it starts coming true, and then they're trying to have to work out how or who or what is the kind of catalyst or the person, you know, who's the wizard behind the curtain and all that. And there's a whole kind of thing about this kind of, it's really interesting, this pandemic and this virus that's released around the world and stuff. It's really, really good. And the artwork is brilliant. And I've read some of his other stuff. He did Monster, is another one you might know of. And what's the other one? Can't think of. He's a number one. He has Happy, he did as well. He did, he's a new one about this girl, young girl who, I don't know what to, Asadora it's called, and I don't want to spoil anything about it, but it's really nice as well. A couple of other things, it's really, really good. He's the guy who did the Manben TV Sow, who, when he went round all the different manga artists and mangakas into their studio and looked at them work, which I just thought was fascinating. It was really good. So the other one I want to talk about is Dead Demons Destruction, or some equivalent of that. Dead Demons Destruction, and this is Inyo Asano, his latest comic or manga, and this is so good. I really, really like it. It's, the idea is that a UFO or Japan gets attacked by a UFO. You know that whole kind of V thing where the mothership comes in or whatever, and you know people react to it as, you know, it's an invasion, all of this thing. But then it's kind of said a couple of years later where nothing really has happened. The ship is still there. There's kind of quarantine areas. There's bits and pieces, but life has moved on. And you know, it's become a bit mundane, the whole UFO thing. But it starts ramping up again when, you know, various incidents kind of happen. But it's mostly set around this kind of group of schoolgirls, and they're teenage schoolgirls, and just them playing games, online games, and their kind of their worldview and all that. But there's a host of different kind of background characters, and the artwork is just so gorgeous. And I suppose people are saying it's kind of like an analogue for 9/11, and maybe it is. But you know, because it's set in Japan and stuff like that, that you know, there might be other things. It could be Fukushima, any of these things. It could be some sort of major incident that, you know, and then life has to go on. Or, you know, if it was started out next year, it would be out, you know, the equivalent of the lockdown. But it's very interesting in the kind of, again, the type like the 20th Century Boys, where you have the kind of similarity of things that are going on right now, and I suppose they're universal themes and all of this at this point. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. He's taken a break. He hasn't had a new chapter up since last year, but he seems to do an awful lot from what I can read. He did that when he was doing Goodnight Pun Pun. So yeah, check them out if you're into manga. I think there's 8 volumes of them altogether. So that's it. That's kind of what I've been doing at the minute. Reading some comics, reading some... What else? Comics I've been reading. I bought some stuff from Comixology. I'm rereading Invisibles. I'm really enjoying that. I'm reading Punk Rock Jesus, which I've never read before, which is really, really good. Rereading V for Vendetta on Comixology, and I love V for Vendetta comic, but it's some of the print or the lettering and stuff can be hard to read because it was originally, you know, designed for A4 and then printed on American size, and it translates well for the most part onto Comixology, but it's still, you know, it's kind of, when you're so used to, I suppose, to computer lettering at this point, when you see the old handwritten lettering that isn't, you know, pristine and sharp and, you know, fully rasterized, that it can be a bit taxing. But of course, if you've been watching any of the other videos, you can see that me talking about my eyes, though I did get them checked by the doctor today, and she said everything's cool. So happy days. A lot of comics have I been reading. V for Vendetta, The Invisibles, Punk Rock Jesus, there's something else, I can't remember. I bought Doom Patrol, the new Doom Patrol, last night. I'd only read a couple of those issues, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what I'm at the minute. I'm also reading Selena by Steve Moore, which is really good. It's a bit, what's the word, academic at the minute, but I'm hoping it will come out of that, because the first bit was less academic than this whole section I'm in at the minute. It's very academic, and hopefully it goes into a more kind of open type writing. You know, it's all like kind of references and the same thing said from different books, you know, and it's like the same kind of paragraph over and over. Anyway, read Sorcery by Thomas Sheridan, which I really, really enjoyed. His YouTube is hit or miss, depending on what type of mood you're in and what type of frame you have. He's certainly his own unique character. I'm also reading his Druid book, which I'm enjoying as well. And I think that's it. That's all. No, I'm reading a book about the Green Man as well, which I've just started the first chapter of, and it's wonderful too. So that's what I've been doing, buying and reading comic-wise and book-wise. So if you have any suggestions for me on what books or comics or manga I should be reading, please let me know, because it's the thing I do the most and I enjoy the most. So good people of the internet, read loads of things, buy loads of books, and support comics and books and all of those things. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow.